I am super excited and pleased to introduce my guest, Miss Lily Hayes. Lily is a multidimensional healer, and we're going to hear about that this evening. I'm going to share a short bio and then open it up for Lily to share more of her experiences and the catalyst of what she experienced for her awakening and what catapulted her into what she does today to serve humanity and bring her beautiful light and love to this world. Lily Hayes is an intuitive multidimensional healer from South Australia. Within her sessions, she holds high frequency space, which allows her to journey with clients to realms where ancient and cosmic magic unfold for deep healing. As she shares her unique light codes and vibrations, she unblocks and activates clients, giving them access to their own inner master. Specializing in supporting souls moving beyond trauma, clearing ancestral cycles, inner child healing, and soul path reconnections. She is passionate about creating positive change within our communities by awakening people to their self mastery potential, and assisting them to dive deeper into their soul's inner wisdom. Her mission is to end societal stigmas and conditioning, which may be limiting soul growth, by creating an empowered community where people can live their truth. Lily is about to launch her very own YouTube channel called Self Mastery Super Show, where she co-creates soulful conversations with like-minded individuals, practitioners, and professionals where they share their experiences and tools within the self-mastery realm. And at the end of the show, I'll be glad to share Lily's contact information that she kindly forwarded to me. So, Lily, welcome.
Thank you so much. It is such an honor to be here and to co-create with you and to share both of our beautiful vibrations with the world and beyond. So
I'm very excited. Thank you.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to share too much right now. I really want to get this, off of the platform over to you to share your story, whatever you feel called to, whatever your heart. I mean, I open this space and I call in nothing but the highest aspect of divine love, truth, and true light in this space.
Thank you.
And I trust that is what is present here. I actually can feel it. I'm very excited. And so please elaborate, share your story, share with us how you got to where you're at. And then the second half of the show, we'll go into question and answer. And if there's any people because we are live on Facebook and YouTube, if there's any questions from anybody, if you don't mind, if you're willing to answer, I'll answer the best I can. But really, the show is about you and your skill sets and your spiritual development and what you're here to, whatever your heart calls you to share. So please go ahead.
Amazing. Oh, thank you so much. I just want to start off by just giving a really deep thanks and gratitude, and to be able to also, both of us and anybody anywhere on this beautiful planet that we're so blessed to call home, take a moment for us to honor the ancestors of the lands that we live on. Yeah. So I am really, really lucky to live in South Australia, and I would like to pay my respects to the Kaurna elders, past, present, and future. I would like to be able to also honor my ancestors who came before me, those that walk beside me, and those that will follow after me. It is a real great honor to be here on this planet at this point in time, this pivotal point in time, where we are really, really going beyond the shackles which have held humanity captive for so long. It's going to be a process. It's going to take time, but we are in motion. We are definitely in motion, and there are more and more people activating and awakening to their absolute infinite potential every single day. So it's amazing to connect with beautiful souls like yourself and everyone else who is watching and will watch, because we are planting seeds that have huge ripple effects within humanity. So I just wanted to, first off, starting with that, because we are very blessed to live on the lands that we live on. And the original custodians of our lands, they deserve to be honoured. They deserve to be respected. Much of what they went through, there was a lot of devastation, and they need to be honoured and acknowledged. So thank you. Thank you so much. So I guess I'll start off from the beginning. So as you said, I'm a multidimensional intuitive healer. I am a Reiki master. I've also studied a range of other modalities, and it was really interesting. Reiki, for me, being attuned to it, it was like a key that opened this vast door of expansion, and all of a sudden, all of these different things started flowing through at a really, really high speed pace. And when that door was opened, I was starting to facilitate healings for people, and I actually started to attract a lot of other fellow healers. And they said, "Do you know that you're doing this? Did you know that you're doing this?" Honestly, I thought I was just doing Reiki. Turned out that I had opened a multidimensional door, which gave us access to realms within realms within realms, and this expansive space where we may have been here within this physical room, but our higher selves, our souls, our light bodies were traveling through this expansive space of infinite potential, where we were healing things that you can't fathom to begin with. It really takes a long time to be able to understand, like, wow, this is going far beyond removing some energy blocks. But to kind of go back a little bit to start off, I have always been an extremely intuitive and empathetic soul who was connected to something far beyond just myself. Going through the schooling system, I was extremely sensitive, very emotional. I could feel everything. I could feel everyone. And I was a huge, huge target right from the get-go. When I got into the schooling system, I was a bit of an emotional tornado. I was targeted by bullies excessively. Not only that, but I was also experiencing some very interesting spiritual and I guess the only way to be able to describe it is I had the ability to see spirit right from an early age. So my psychic connection was so strong that spirit came to me, and not every spirit came to me with the most calmest and gentlest of energies. One of the things that my soul has been put on this planet to do is to be able to assist trapped souls from passing over. And a lot of these trapped souls are very, very tormented. They either had horrible things happen to them, or they did horrible things. So they hold a lot of low vibrational energy, and they're not sure how to be able to pass over to be able to reach that other side. So being a young child and being so haunted by all of these different spirits coming through, it was extremely overwhelming. And not to mention all of the off-world adventures that I was embarking upon and not fully understanding. Back in, the early 80s, late 80s, early 90s, I couldn't turn to anybody around me and say some of the experiences that I was going through, because they turn around and they're like, okay, off to the doctor, that's not normal. And unfortunately, that is what happened, was that I was labeled with mental health issues from a very young age, and I was thrown around in the mental health system from a very, very young age. And I had every label slapped on me that there could possibly be. And I was put on numerous medications from a young age, on and off. So I didn't have anyone around me to say, hey, this is what you're going through. If we were in a powerful Indigenous community, there would have been an amazing shaman within the community that would have said, hey, I see you, I see what you're going through. And did you know what? It's actually a really, really beautiful gift.
Yes.
And I'm going to support you through this.
Yes.
Unfortunately, I didn't live in a community that had that kind of awareness and had that kind of wisdom to support me through that transition. So it was really difficult navigating, knowing that there was more to it, but no one believing me. And it was very hard because when you're an impressionable child, and a really sensitive one at that, and you have got family, people, professionals all around you saying, you're broken, you're this, that's not normal, that's not healthy, why can't you just be normal like all the other kids, what's wrong with you? Eventually you start to think, shivers, like, what is wrong with me? Oh my gosh, like, I'm no good. I'm not normal. I don't belong here.
Well, Lily,
And
I just want to say I'm I'm kind of squirming around because I definitely resonate with everything that you just said, and I know that there's so many others out there that haven't gotten the support that we have been able to come together and find, you and me and other people in the communities and across the planet. But there still are so many more people waking up, or for instance, they wake up and then their family, puts them and ridicules them, and they end up on these medications and they never find their way. We can only pray that they do find their way to people like yourself to get the help they need in order to free themselves, liberate themselves from the shackles of, the status quo. And I'll just be quiet from that. But I just felt very, very, I needed to say something. I'll just say
and
that.
that's okay. Jump in at
Yeah.
any time. We're here co-creating together. And you're right. There are so many people out there that are still in that space where they don't have that acceptance around them. And that is the fire within my belly, the passion of my actions, is to be able to help support these beautiful souls, because every single one of us, whether we're willing to acknowledge it or not, have these beautiful, amazing gifts within us to be able to access other energies, to be able to access other gifts and abilities within ourselves. Everyone is psychic. Every single person on this planet is psychic, and everyone on this planet is the best of the best of the best. That's why we're here. That's why we're here at this time.
Yes.
And I was quite late in the awakening game for me. I didn't really start to acknowledge and really start to dive into this until really about 4 years ago, was when it first started to actually really take a hold. I've always been interested in crystals. I've always been interested in using tarot or oracle cards from a really young age. I've been doing card readings since I was like 10 years old. So it was always in me. But because I had so many people telling me that, no, you're wrong because you feel these things, you're wrong because you see these things, I suppressed it so much. And from a very, very young age, I started going down some paths that were extremely self-destructive. I hated and I loathed myself, and I could not understand how to coexist within the community that I had found myself in. And by the time I reached early teenagers, I embarked upon an extremely, extremely dark and wild road of drug abuse. And going through my childhood, there was also a lot of sexual exploitation. There was also some really traumatic experiences of being sexually abused and exploited by a female family friend. And people don't hear this very often. People think that pedophiles, majority of them, come in the form of a man. And I'm sorry that that stigma has been placed against the male race, because that is not purely the only way that it goes, because I had experienced it at the hand of a female. It was a trusted female of our family. And unfortunately, she betrayed my family's trust. She used me, she used her daughter, and that had huge, huge ripple effects on the path that moved forward. So going into my early teens, not only was I abusing drugs, but I was also abusing myself through extremely dangerous sexual situations. I went into a hypersexuality stage of my life where I just wanted to feel accepted. I wanted to feel loved. And the only thing that I felt gave me the level of love that I was really seeking was coming from sexual energy. And it was a long, long road to get to where I am now, and to realize there is so much more to me than this physical body, than what I have to offer, because gosh, my soul is so, so worthy of true love, true acceptance.
Yes. Yes.
And everybody is in the same position. So many of us feel like we are not enough, and it doesn't have to come from extreme cases of child abuse and neglect. It doesn't have to come from the extremities of anything, because sometimes even the most simplest things can have the most hugest impacts on someone's life. It could be a teacher going through early childhood who just for some reason was going through their own pain and projected it onto you as a child, and that can have a ripple effect for the rest of your life until you're ready to acknowledge it and work through it. It could be something such as going through a car accident. It can be a wide range of experiences can cause trauma, which can then cause limiting beliefs. But we are here to say that we can move beyond limiting beliefs. We can heal trauma. And, not only do we go through our own trauma, but we are connected to a long ancestral lineage of souls who came before us that went through their own traumas, and we hold those energetic imprints within our being. So sometimes we don't have to go through anything in this lifetime, and yet we have these feelings, these emotions, these energies that come through us. And
yeah, I just wanted to mention, and I appreciate you sharing and going deeper into trauma and the different variations of trauma and how they can be projected by our family members, friends, neighbors, teachers, so forth. But also, when the mother has a baby in her womb and she's going through a lot of trauma herself, and potentially the father is not around of the baby,
yes,
and the stress that the woman goes through, the mother, or not feeling worthy or in fear of how she's going to take care of her child. I'm the youngest of 12 kids. 12. Yeah. And
big family.
yes, and that was, my mother was pregnant with me and split up with my father. So he was cheating and having, a relationship with another woman during her pregnancy with me. My point in bringing that up, and I will continue, my point is that the energetic traumas, imprints, fears from our parents get passed down to us. So not only are we being born into this world with these bright lights and, a smack on the ass and umbilical cord being clipped and immediately taken from our mother, which is trauma in itself that can take a lifetime to heal from.
Absolutely.
Besides all the other things that take place, it's a lot. It's a lot for a soul to come in from a different realm, dimension, to be born into this world. But just like you said, we are all gifted and blessed to be here.
Yes.
And I am so thankful. And there was a time when I didn't want to be here. I literally, I don't want to get into that, but yeah, I didn't want to be here. I was angry. I was very angry. But please go ahead, continue.
Yeah, I'm so glad that you brought that up, because it's extremely true. And my mother and father were going through extremely traumatic times when my mother was pregnant with me as well. And it definitely does have such a ripple effect coming through.
Right.
And that's, being in fetus and growing in that belly and having so much turmoil going on around the outside of where you're growing. it really is so symbolic of what it is then like going through childhood and having traumatic things around you. Just because you're in a belly, you weren't protected from those energies and from those energetic connections.
Do you know that I have memory of being in my mother's womb, looking out her belly,
Yep, I do as
and I
well.
seen the light shining through her belly, and I was
Yeah,
surrounded by water, and I was in fetal, and I looked up and I saw the light, and I went to turn to lay, and then I was snapped out of my. So I had this memory.
yeah,
Um, yeah, I didn't want to be. I didn't. I just didn't want to have to go through what I knew I was being prepared and sent to do. But I'm
yeah.
very thankful I'm here now.
Oh,
And the
absolutely.
goal, yeah, and the blessing, Lily, more than anything, is that we are waking up, we are activating, we are doing the deep dive, we are taking full responsibility, we are self-actualized beings, we are spiritually developing in ways that this planet probably hasn't seen if we go by the history of what we've been, or at least the information that's out there. 26,000 years, how many times we've done this. We are doing it. We have done it. We are
Oh,
doing
yeah.
it. We are,
Oh,
it
yeah.
is in the happening, as I say to people. It is
Mm-hmm.
in the happening. And right.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
and it stops, the buck stops here. I just
It
remember
does.
when I was a kid saying, whatever my parents went through, it's going to end with me. And I
Absolutely.
and I refuse to become a molester, a rape, any of the things that I experienced, I refuse to become. But what I did do was self-destruct, because I just took it
Yeah.
on,
Yeah.
everything, and then used my body like you did and so forth. But
Yeah.
it's, well, how lovely. I mean, and I'm not saying that these are easy things to talk about, nor am I attempting to trigger anybody. And if you do feel triggered,
Likewise.
reach out. We'll, uh, Lily will be sharing her information at the end. You can reach out to her,
Yeah.
or of course send me a message. But it is timed, for us to stop ignoring the elephant in the room, and being
Yes.
able to have these kinds of conversations
Yes.
and empower ourselves, and knowing that you're damn right I went through that, and guess what? Look where I'm at now. Look
Exactly.
how I operate in my community. Look at the value that I bring now. And whether
Yes.
you agree or you accept it or you validate me, I don't need that. We don't need to be validated anymore. We can do it for ourselves. Yeah.
Exactly.
You're so amazing, Lily. You really
Oh,
are.
and
I
so are
mean,
you.
it's such a blessing to have you. Please go ahead, elaborate. I mean, share, continue. I wanted to go into the, question and answer at the second part, but you know, it's, I'm first off new at this, right? I've had
Oh, look,
content shows, but
we knew it would be like this.
yeah, yeah.
Ida,
I,
we
yeah, yeah, yeah.
knew.
Because we have such, we may not have gone through the exact same situation, but the traumas that we've experienced are the same. The sexual abuse, the drug abuse, the lack of self-worth and so forth. They may have showed up in different ways of expression, but and nevertheless they're still the same. And I get it. And you mentioned, and I've never shared this before, and I'm gonna just say this. When I was a kid, it was one of my sister's friends, and she's probably watching this and is going to ask me afterwards. Won't mention her name, but she sexually abused me,
Yeah.
and uh, and I remember it, and it's just, it seems to be, unfortunately, and I'm not angry at her. I'm not saying what she did was right, but she was also, a young teenager, and God knows what she had experienced, that, that kind of thing. And so, yes, it does get passed down.
It
Um,
does.
and it's sad. It's very sad, because we've learned, well, and then you have the music videos and the billboards and the models and everything that projects to us that, first off, that we should feel uncomfortable in our own skin,
Yeah.
and that our body is sex, drugs, and rock and roll is and I'm not saying, don't, people, listen, I had a lot of fun. I'm not going to say my whole I had a lot of fun, but on a whole, it was um, there was a lot of pain that was not, what's the word I want to use? Self-betrayal, abandonment. I just
Yeah,
didn't know how to, I could be there for other people to the best of my ability, but I just didn't know how to show up for myself. It was
absolutely.
difficult. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And I completely resonate with that 100%. It's a really long journey, and you know, going through the substance abuse, trying to escape, just trying to feel anything other than the trauma and rawness, because I didn't have anyone around me saying, hey, there's this great thing called energetic healing and it can actually change and transform your life. I didn't have anyone around me at that point in time.
Yes.
And honestly, I was in this complete self-destructive mode that I was like, the world, I'm going to do what I want because I haven't been able to do what I want. And I just had so much angst, so much anger, so much frustration. And I thought I was going to die young and fast and I was going to be super glamorous and like, you know, just one of those tragic movies of this like hot mess of a woman who just lost it, and all of a sudden they'd find out the story afterwards and they'd be like, whoa, why did we never know? And I'm so glad that I didn't pass over at that stage, because I tell you what, I came very close. I came very, very close. I've had 4 near-death experiences in my journey, and 2 of them were because of drug abuse. And it is such a thing to reflect back upon, that I could have lost my life because of the trauma that I went through and the way that I was trying to process it. And that is such a big passion for me now, is to tell people, I see you, I feel you, I love you. You may feel that you've got nothing to offer the world, but I see that you have everything to offer the world, because you do. Every single one of you has so much to offer yourself and then the world.
Yes.
You are not a mistake. You are not too difficult. You are not too sensitive. You are not too broken. There is no such thing as broken. There is just a thing called hurt. And it is time to stop the cycle. It is time to stop the cycle now. And if that's something that I can help support anybody with, and if my energy doesn't resonate with you, I have such a huge collection of amazing people in my network, and maybe one of them might resonate with you and could help you transform your life too. Because I'm not here to be someone's guru. I'm not here to be someone's rescuer. I'm not here to save anybody, but I'm absolutely here to activate people to their own ability to heal themselves. I hold space, I plant seeds. And all of the healers that I have seen before, they hold space and they plant seeds. But when we are on the table as a client going through a healing session, we are the ones that are doing our work, because the multidimensional realm opens and our beautiful soul expands, and it does the most miraculous things when we are laying there.
Yes.
We have got all these beautiful different versions of ourselves. Our spirit guides come in, our amazing starseed families, our ancestors, all these beautiful beings, our spirit doctors. It is so expansive. The team that comes to life and comes to that call of action when you say, I am willing to heal, I am here to heal, I am healing. Right. When you lay there and this amazing, powerful posse and your amazing, powerful self just goes, okay, it's time, let's do this. And they all put their hands upon this beautiful physical body that is in this physical realm, and they start to move, they start to shift, they start to reprogram, pulling out this, calling back this, and integrating that together. It is I have to try not to swear today.
I hear your passion, Lily. We both have a couple people that we both no, probably more than a couple, but a couple that we both have hold in high regard. And
Yes.
I think, there's such amazing people out here that are doing amazing things, and
Oh, yes.
everybody has something to bring to the table, even if it's just saying, I'll listen while you know, have
Exactly.
your way with whatever's going on, if somebody's
Yeah.
having a tough day or whatever. But I think, I would like to, because this show is called Conscious Heart Solutions. So I like to talk about just a little bit to get people, understanding the meat of what we are referring to as far as trauma. But I love to move into the solutions and how we
Yes.
can integrate and heal and step up and empower ourselves and so forth. So
Yes.
please share more about the multidimensional realm. So first off, okay, so we'll go into the question and answer a little bit earlier if you like. And if there's anything you decide you want to talk
Yep.
about, is there anything else that you want to?
I'll just quickly just finish off the
Yes, please
background
do.
section.
Okay.
Um, so long story short, I had my eldest son at 19, and that completely changed my life. I say that both of my children saved me and came into this beautiful physical realm at such pivotal points, and my eldest son Jet definitely did. He is such an amazing soul and has been such a beautiful teacher, as is his lovely and
What a
gorgeous
powerful
young.
name, Jet. I love that.
Yeah, Jet
Love
is my
that name.
eldest, who he's
Yes, nice.
14, and then my youngest is Phoenix, and Phoenix is another super soul as well.
Yeah,
So
yes, that's right.
yeah, so
Lovely name. Yeah.
oh, thank you. So I started to find a bit more confidence within myself, and I understood that there was so much more to life than feeling that turmoil and that tornado of destruction. I had Jet at a very young age, so there was a lot of different adjustments that came with that, because I was living a really wild life. And in those younger years, I was still, early 20s, I was still trying to work out how to love myself. And that's a big thing for all of us to be going through. It's a journey. It's not something we snap our fingers and have all the answers. But I started to try and work out new ways of being able to deal with things. And going through my early 20s, it was still a bit of a wild ride. And my eldest didn't always get the best of me in those younger years. But the love and connection that we have grown together, and the transformation that he has seen me make, gives him the ability to accept himself in his moments where he's finding it difficult to coexist within this world. He's got an extremely, extremely strong and sometimes explosive wild energy himself. And for me to be able to love him through those waves and shades has really, really helped him turn a massive corner for his own self and development. Not every day is easy, but it's getting better and better,
And
which
he's
is
a
really great.
teenager? Is he how
Pardon?
old is he? How old
Yeah,
is your?
he's 14. He's
Yeah.
14
It's
now.
it's tough for these. I
Yeah.
mean, I remember being 12 and, I wanted to really step out, and like that's when we start separating ourselves from our parents and
Yep.
deciding what is true for us as opposed to, what we were taught, if any religious,
Yeah.
indoctrination, or, how we should behave or think or, feel for that matter. So
Exactly.
that's when we start separating a little bit more and kind of stepping out into the world, and we think we know everything, right? I mean, right.
Oh yes.
Yeah, yeah. So
And look,
I mean, I remember that. I remember it. I'm 52. I'm
yeah,
you got 20 something on you. And I just remember being that kid but I definitely was way ahead of myself. But
yeah,
now
yeah,
with the way the energies and how everything is on the planet, and the energies and the portals that have opened up and the light codes that are coming through, I imagine that the teenagers are having a little bit of a difficult time, and then there are some that are just breezing
yeah,
right through. So it just
yeah.
depends. Yeah.
It definitely does. You know, there's such a wide range of experiences that our youth and our children are experiencing. And these beautiful children that are coming through, they are super sensitive. Their gifts are through the roof. But if they don't have someone around them that can acknowledge those, it's, you
Right.
know, they're having to go through those same kind of cycles of working it out and coming out the other side.
Mhm.
And my eldest, bless his soul, he loves and appreciates me, but sometimes the spiritual side of life is a bit like, no, I don't know, mom, and does the whole too cool for school kind of thing.
I love it.
But he knows, he knows, and when he allows that wall to come down and that heart space to really expand, yeah, it's a really beautiful
That's
flow.
lovely.
Yeah. But look, there's definitely a whole lot of hormonal angst that goes on in that beautiful young man, but I love him through every moment anyway.
Well, and you're a mother raising two boys. Yeah,
yes, I am.
That's
Yeah.
huge. Yeah, good for you.
Yeah,
Really.
look,
Yeah.
you know, every year that Jet gets older, you know, Lisa Nichols, actually, she's an amazing transformational speaker, and she says, you know, she shared this beautiful analogy of, you know, hey Jet, happy 14th birthday. Just so you know, I've never been a parent to a 14-year-old, so we're both new at this together. And every year, that's what she's told her son. And it's so true. You know, every year I've never parented a 14-year-old before, and now here we are 6 months into it. And
no, I love that. That's
it's
fabulous.
She
well, I
is
think it also open, you know, when a youngin feels like you're doing it with them rather than you're up here and I'm the adult and you're the child and you'll, you know, rah, 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 all, which I just can't even, you know.
It doesn't work.
I don't say, I don't like it. I don't like to say, I don't have children, but I've got tons of nieces and nephews and great. And I remember when I was younger, because like if I babysat, I remember wanting to control the like just calm down, sit down, whatever. But of course, you know, I've lightened up a lot because of my own. Yeah. So it's easier for me I have more patience and appreciation in a much different way now for children than, you know, but I love that. We're doing this together.
It's such a great way to be able to transform the relationship, because Jet, Jet is on the spectrum, so he has always had very explosive energy, and he's always been quite a whirlwind of energy and behavior and all of that. But I myself am on the spectrum of ADHD, and you know, it's all just labels. Eventually you break through to the other side and you realize, okay, it's great to have a guideline, but don't hold on to the label that someone places against you. Be able to use that as a source of information of the different ways that you process, but don't hold on to, there's something wrong with me, I'm different. We're all different. Every single person on this planet is on the spectrum to a degree or another. Some are just a bit more higher, lower. We're all in different ways.
Yeah, I could share a story. This is not my interview, it's yours, so I won't go there because but it's interesting that you bring up, you know, first off, if you've ever heard of Mary Rodwell's interview or a presentation she did about letter people, which is what's referred to the ADHD. They're referred to as letter people. From she should check it out. If I can find it, I'll send it to you.
Please,
So our brains are wired differently than others, and you know, and I confronted my doctor about being ADHD and diagnosed bipolar, and he admitted to me that they're both fictitious illnesses. They're not even real diagnosis.
No, they're not.
And it didn't go too well. I mean, I have a police report about it and everything, because they were I was asking for medication and they were giving it to me. And because I had come off drugs and alcohol, that was another, until finally one day I just said, you know, I was on 90 milligrams of Adderall. 90 milligrams. That stuff opens your crown chakra up. you are completely vulnerable to, yes. So I laid in the bed after I had my awakening. It wasn't right away. I mean, I went through, I laid in the bed and I just said, this is it. I am done. I'm not putting another thing in my body. And I did it and I moved away and I have not looked back.
Yeah.
I just will, anyways, when I hear, especially when it comes to ADHD, it's, and other, even, what's it called? It starts with an S. What's it called?
Um,
Schizophrenia.
oh, yeah.
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 From my understanding, these are entity attachments that cause this
Yes.
kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, if that's true, do I know that for a fact? No, but I've heard enough people speak about it, and I've seen, these are so, that's why people coming to you and getting the help, help if they feel like they're not themselves, we can get
And
a deeper discussion about that. But go ahead.
yeah, and we definitely will dive into that, because a lot of people that come and see me have been labeled with very complex mental health issues. But we'll touch on that in a second. I'll just round up the rest of this. So
Yes.
I became a parent when Jet was quite young. I started working in corporate, and it was just like school all over again. I was this super sensitive soul that was just trying to work out how.
Are you there? You froze up, Lily. Lily? Hey guys, let's just give it a minute and hopefully we'll get her back on.
On
Katie, are you there? We lost her.
okay.
Okay, there we go. I was just getting ready to send you a messenger. Okay, you're back.
Yeah, no, I
Okay,
think
yeah.
this occasionally happens, to be completely honest, is like I've got really good strong Wi-Fi here, it's at full percent, but sometimes when I'm doing Zoom calls or doing sessions and stuff, the frequency raises so high that technology just decides to have a bit of a little shit fit, and it fries out. So hey, we're back, it's all happening.
That's right. Very good.
Oh
Okay.
goodness.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah,
People
so
that watch this show know that I'm pretty laid back and I engage pretty, I'm a talker, and I definitely, and especially if something, strikes something in me, so especially things I'm passionate about. And of course, most people that I invite on are talking about things that we both are very passionate about. So I get it. And I don't mean to interrupt you, so I hope you don't feel offended.
No,
that's why I don't even like
not at all.
my shows, interviews. It's an open discussion where we can share and so forth. But please go ahead. I love to listen to you. So
so I had worked in the corporate world for a while, then branched out into fashion. I went through a couple of cancer scares as well, and it was really just my body telling me, you're in an environment that is not serving your soul, sister. It's time for you to do your work. You got to do your work. You got to start healing, and your body will tell you. You can think that you're having an experience for one reason, but I have seen time and time again that quite often health issues always have such a powerful message of it's time to heal, it's time to change something in your life, it's time to break a cycle. There is that really, really powerful message that it comes through for everyone, and it's always different. Everybody's life and everyone's journey is completely unique and different. So there's definitely no one size fits all within that situation. But I ended up having to leave working full time because my body was shutting down. My body was telling me no. And I went through a divorce and took some time off of work, was going through these cancer scares, and I went off the rails again. I relapsed and I went off the rails again, and I found myself in a very dark place. I managed to turn that all around and was able to get myself back into a better place. But one of the substances that I found really difficult to quit was smoking marijuana. That was the one thing that I just couldn't quite let go of, because there was the plant-based medicine aspect, which I really resonated with, but there was also the fact that I was abusing it and it wasn't serving my soul. And I've got no judgment towards anyone for whatever stage of life they're at and for whatever it is that they choose as, you know, something that they're wanting to indulge in. So this was just for me personally. My soul kept saying to me, it's time to quit, it's time to quit, it's time to quit. But there was that part of me that didn't feel enough, that felt like I needed that to be a better person. And I found myself in an extremely toxic mind frame. And I started not even realizing I was doing it, because I've always been a really small framed person physically. But I started subconsciously starving myself because it was a form of self-harm that wasn't as noticeable as all the others, until all of a sudden you're at a dangerously low weight and it is obvious to everyone. And everyone around me started saying, like, are you okay? Are you okay? And I was like, I'm fine. And I made excuses like, I'm really busy. I don't have time to sit down and have a meal. I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm doing this, I made all these excuses. But it got to the point where my organs started shutting down and I was hospitalized. And this was another near-death experience that really woke me up. And it was because of this experience that I then embarked on my healing journey. My partner at the time, his brother had just become an energetic healer. It's an amazing place. And it was time. So I started going to weekly healing sessions, and I was so in denial about so much to begin with, but it planted the seeds and I started working through a lot of stuff. And the inner child healing that I worked through, it was so intense and traumatic, but it totally changed my life. It had completely transformed my life. So I spent 8 months in weekly healing sessions, and that's not necessarily something that everyone has to do. That's just, my soul was ready. My soul was like, girl, you got work to do. It's time for you to heal.
Yeah.
So that you can then go on your path of being a healer too.
Sure.
So 8 months into it, my mum was like, oh, why don't you do Reiki level 1 so you can heal yourself? And I was like, awesome. That sounds great. So she gifted that to me, and I did my level 1 and my Reiki.
Your mother's a Reiki healer?
No, my mother's actually a nurse, but she's a total healer too. And
I love
that. We had a wild time back in the early years. We both were reactive rather than proactive, but she started transforming her way of dealing with things around the same time as me, and we found a really amazing and healthy relationship that started to totally transform things.
That's lovely, and Lily. That's so fabulous.
It was
lovely.
No, thank you.
Wow, that's fabulous.
Yeah,
I'm just picturing this in my head and I'm picking up certain stuff.
Yeah.
I don't always volunteer that because it's not my place to do that, but I'm very happy to hear that.
Yeah.
Very good.
And it was not long before all of that I had my second child, Phoenix. And Phoenix is another amazingly powerful soul that is just destined for some really, really massive change within the community and collective as a whole. He is a super soul. All of our children are, though, that's for sure. But the journey with Phoenix was really difficult. The pregnancy, I had done that alone. The birth, I had done that. My mum was my right-hand woman, Like, she was there for me the whole time, which really helped us heal our relationship. So when I got to this point of finally being able to do healing and then be attuned to Reiki, she was right there, my biggest cheerleader, my biggest support.
Yes.
And it was just so amazing for her to plant these seeds in me when we had such a rocky start, but for me to see her transformation showed me the transformation that was possible in me. And not long after I did my Reiki 1, I did my Reiki 2, and like many people that are attuned to Reiki or do healing modalities, they're like, right, I'm ready to be a healer. So I started taking all these clients, and it was really amazing. It was absolutely such a beautiful stage in my life. But 8 months in, I burnt out in a big way, and I went through a huge dark night of the soul. It was like I started my awakening before that, but that was the real massive, here's your awakening. It's time to really dive deep. And it's been such a beautiful journey since. It really has. It's been painful in moments, but it's also been the best thing I could have done for myself. And now to have the ability to share with people how transformative energetic healing is, and how much self-mastery and doing the work really does change your life, is just, it's amazing and so beautiful to be here in this moment. So last year in November, my left lung collapsed onto my heart. I had another near-death experience. That was the lucky number 4. They say it comes in 3s, but apparently I needed a 4th. And that was the biggest activation that I have experienced. Everyone was freaking out around me, but I actually really honored it, because going over to the other side, and we can go further into this afterwards, it was a beautiful remembering of why we are all here. What is the purpose of life? The purpose of life within this human form is to embrace the senses to their absolute maximum. And that's the highest of the highs, and that's the lowest of the lows. Because when you go into the void space, you look at your life and your contract review, and you see the worst of the worst and the best of the best, and you are just as excited to be able to feel with everything within your being. So it was beautiful, and I embarked upon some really amazing journeys to sacred sites after that, and it was just a whole different level of grid work that I didn't realize that I was able to dive as deep as I did. I had done grid work for 4 years before that, but this was a whole nother level. So that near-death experience was a massive activation, and so many other people that have near-death experiences say the same, that it really activates something within them. So February, I had major lung surgery, and I thought I was going in there to have my lung operated on, to do what it needed to do. Lo and behold, I was in the hospital to completely clear the hauntings and activate the major hospital site in South Australia, and activate all the beautiful souls that were in there as well. I had all these different doctors and nurses come in. I don't know why I'm wanting to ask you this, but I saw your crystals, so I thought maybe you might know. I've never asked anyone this, and then XYZ, whatever it was that they were wanting to touch on.
Yeah. I don't mean to cut you off. We're going to take a break in 2 minutes. We should, 2 minutes. I told her in 3, but 8, from 8 to 8:10. And if you see me looking at my phone, it's because I'm communicating either with, I don't know how to do it on here. So
you're fine.
Yeah. I don't want, but I am listening to you.
No, don't worry. You're all good.
More about that, because I know hospitals hold, there's so much death and people get trapped, and not everyone crosses over, and there's portals all over this planet.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I would love to hear more about that. And Lily, I just want to say thank you again. I can probably do this with you, 3 or 4 times and still not lovely to talk with.
Oh,
Really.
thank you.
So
And likewise.
and the information that you're sharing is just so important for so many people. I mean, there are, we have our predecessors, people that have come before us, and there'll be plenty coming after us, and everybody's on their own timeline for their own soul's journey, but we are on a collective timeline. And when I resonate with people like yourself, it feels good. It feels good to know that there's, and I say this to my audience all the time, contact me, contact my guests. If I bring somebody on anybody that I bring on to my show, and I've only had, I don't know, 10 interviews that I've done, because I'm not, I really want it to be a platform where people feel safe, that they can just listen to these kinds of conversations. And if they feel called to or compelled to, they can reach out and get the help they need. Or,
Absolutely.
maybe share something with us in the comments that maybe we didn't know that can be helpful. But we're going to take a quick break. And then when we come back, I want to hear more about, let me just let her know ready.
Yeah, we'll dive deep. We'll start diving deep into the other side. But thank you for letting me share my story of what got me into this point of now in the present moment.
Yeah. And again, we went back and forth. Don't hesitate. If there's something you want to share or you feel is important to you to get out and you want people to hear as part of your story, you're more than welcome to share whatever you feel.
Thank you.
Yes. So there's no real, way that we have to do it, is my point. Yeah. Okay. So I'll see you back in 10 minutes.
All right. Sounds great.
Okay. Very good. Thank you.
Awesome.
All right. Welcome back, everyone. My name's Aida Farhat. Welcome to Conscious Heart Solutions. And this evening, I have beautiful Lily Hayes as my guest, and I'm super excited to have her here. So we're going to go ahead and just open the show back up. And Lily, if you don't mind, when we left off, by the way, I just want to give a shout out to Michael Lee Hill. That was his music, 432 Hertz. I have one of his necklaces on. It's pretty amazing. I love it's the Metatron symbol with the rose quartz. If you're interested in any of his stuff, you can find him on Facebook. That's Michael Lee Hill. So he's a good friend. And yeah, anyways, I mean, I've been going back and forth with him on Facebook for quite some time and did an interview with him. And maybe we can share some of your. So are you familiar with your galactic family and what race you most resonate with? I'm just curious.
Yeah, definitely. I'd love to dive into that because it's always a fun topic to touch on, that's for sure. My galactic family is very expansive. I've definitely I've got connections with so many different areas of our amazing universe and beyond. But the group that resonates with me most and that I have most connection with is the Pleiadians. And they are just such beautiful, beautiful souls. But in saying that too, one of my really beautiful guides is an 8-foot mantis being called Canal as well. So mantis beings are also they're really, really awesome. And a lot of people, when they first start connecting with mantis beings, they're quite intimidated because, you've got this giant, big mantis being. And I say he, but there's no gender, but it's just a masculine type of energy. And mantis beings are really beautiful because they did have a very kind of like hardcore, strong, like bit gnarly, bit scary kind of like thing going about them, but they went through their own awakening, and they now live from such a beautiful space within their heart. At least the collective of mantis beings that I'm connected to anyway. I can't speak for all of them. I haven't met all of them, so we've got shades and waves of all kinds and all different races of the human, let alone our starseed family. Too.
That's right. Because I will tell you, I am Lemurian Pleiadian, and I know that not all Pleiadians are all love and light.
No, that's it.
So,
that's for sure.
But, just depending on where they are in their own, the soul itself and its own evolutional state. But we've come back to correct, right our wrongs, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And look, they're all going through their own versions.
I'm sorry?
I was just going to say they're all going through their own versions of that too.
Sure.
Earth isn't the only space within the universe that is having these kinds of big, massive shifts. Domination and control and manipulation is out there.
It's so huge, Lily. It's so huge. It's overwhelming to even, we listen. I definitely want to get back to your hospital thing for briefly, just so you could share that with people. Then we can move more into the galactic, because I would love to hear your perspective. And I surely, I only can speak from my own experiences, but of course I've done enough of my own introspection and listening to people that I have trusted throughout the years. Some I don't care to listen to anymore. I learned what I needed to learn, and then there's some that that I revisit here and there. Anyway, so do you want to go back to the talking about because I'm kind of all over the place right now. There's so much I want to ask you, and I want to be able to kind of stick to a little bit of a structure. And go ahead.
Look, I think that it's really quite funny because being labeled, we touched on it before, being labeled with something called ADHD, is actually a bit more of an indication. And look, these are all just my perceptions, and you know, I'm only 4 years into really diving into this side of things, so sometimes my terminology might not be as technical as some of the other people out there. So if something that I say doesn't resonate, then that's completely fine. Like, I love and I respect everybody and where their energy resonates with, and it might not be with mine, and that's totally fine. I still love you, I still respect you.
Can I just say something? And I appreciate what you're saying. I just want you to know that, okay, if and, you know, because I've heard you say this a couple times now. If people don't resonate, that's completely fine. Of course, it's fine because guess what? We don't have to take anything personal, right? We can allow
Exactly.
people to share their experiences and not make it, you know, about us, right? And
Exactly.
I remind myself of that often,
Yep.
and I'm much better at it because, especially when you're still going through, you know, an ego death, and not that you ever arrive, and I'll be
Yeah.
clear, anybody tells you they've arrived, they are truly full of crap. Okay.
Oh yeah, we never stop.
That's right. So we never arrive, but we can get to a place where we are rising above the black, white, right, wrong, good, bad, resonate, not resonate, whatever. Everybody is having their own experiences.
Yeah.
And this is a place for you to share whatever you want, whatever you feel called to. And I hope that my audiences resonate on a frequency where nothing is being taken personal. That's really what I wanted to say.
Absolutely, yeah. Because we love and accept all, and that's right. The reason why we do what we do, is to be able to give people that love and acceptance no matter what it is that they're following.
That's right.
There's universal,
what were you going to say?
Unity.
Yeah. What were you going to say? That you were saying that if y'all don't resonate with me, then I know, because
yeah, sorry. Yeah, I kind of forgot what I was saying for a second then. I was just touching on like my terminology. It might not necessarily be the same as other people's. So I'm just using the linguistics that come to me. And look, the English language is such a limiting language to speak with. And, you know, I love speaking light language because it's just so much more expansive. And being able to just share energy in general, it speaks far, far more, you know, beyond anything that any language can ever come to. So, you know, from my heart to your heart, feel this energy within this moment as we're co-creating this awesome conversation. So, now, I can't exactly remember what we were going to say, but you wanted me to touch on the hospital experience.
About the hospital, right.
Yeah.
And then we can move into the more multi-dimensional stuff. And I'm going to send you a picture of something I took from Michael's video, his music video, that is going to blow your mind because you look like her and she's lady. Okay. So I'm going to send it to you now. And I just thought, oh my God, Lily looks like her. What? I'm getting ready to send it to you and you're going to be like, Ida, what? Watch.
All right.
I can't wait to see your response. Tell me what you think. I hope this is that's a good one. I mean, you know, clear. Have a look at that.
Oh, that is awesome. Look at the light codes in it too. Do you know what is really?
That is my gift to you. I want to give.
Thank you.
Yes.
I love that.
That is.
I love that.
Totally feel your. Lily, I feel you. When I look at that, I think of you.
Oh, thank you. I love you, sister.
God, yes.
Oh, thank you. Beautiful, beautiful soul, you.
Beautiful, beautiful. That is you, my love.
And you know what is really awesome with that picture as well is that one of my other guides is an amazingly beautiful, very feminine energy light being that always stands behind me. And she gives me these crown tingles when I'm getting like an awesome download, or if there's something that I need to follow. She always gives me this little tingle on my skull when something like special is happening. And she's literally looks like that. She's just,
okay.
Yeah.
Well, they say that these are aspects of ourselves.
Yes, I'm glad you said that. I was thinking it.
You know, yes.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
there you are.
Yeah, and that's exactly right. Is that any of the guides that we have with us are all aspects of ourselves. But you know what? Every single person in creation is actually an aspect of ourselves. We are all one. We are
We're
all
having a conversation with ourselves to know ourselves
Yeah.
as our I am.
Exactly.
So when you really move from that space, your heart just blows open.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And that's where compassion and true empathy and compassion can be felt.
Yeah.
I'm going to get choked up.
Oh, I know. I feel you.
It's so beautiful. It really is.
It is.
Yeah.
And, you know, even in the sense as well of when we're triggered by someone or a situation, to be able to come into the level of awareness where you realize that you're being triggered because there's actually a fraction of yourself, there's an aspect of yourself that actually has that to be able to acknowledge is within, but can also be let go, and to be able to clear that, and to then be able to see that other person or that situation as whole and perfect and thank it for the beautiful gift that it just shared with you. Oh,
yes,
wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
It is so powerful.
This past couple minutes, and there's something I'm feeling around me for sure.
Yeah, they're here.
Yeah. It has been, I mean, the whole conversation has been lovely, but since I sent that picture to you and I look at, all of a sudden I just feel this really, it's got me a little choked up, but it's
and my throat chakra's going.
Yes.
Yeah, my throat chakra's going. They're like, speak my light language, speak it.
Okay. I would love for you to share some of your light. Okay, let's just get a little on track. Share just a couple minutes of the hospital thing, then we'll move into the galactic. We still got like 50 minutes, so or 40, excuse me.
Yeah, no, that's fine. We can.
And I would love to have you back again, so we'll have, you know, next time we'll have a little bit more structure with it, but we'll do our best, whatever.
We look, from the conversations we've had, we always knew that we were going to get all passionate about all the different bits that would pop up. So look, I'm the same as you. We flow free. We honor the flow that comes through, and it is all divine and exactly as it's set out to be. So it's good. In relation to the hospital experience, it is another example of what we were just touching on, where, you know, so many people are like, oh, I bet you're really scared. Oh my God, you're having major lung surgery. I hope you're okay. And I love them. I love you for caring about me, for being considerate of my situation. But I went into that surgery completely knowing within my heart of hearts and my soul of souls that I was going in there for a far bigger reason than just to have this surgery done. And that all came about in the activation in November, and then embarking on some really beautiful grid journeys. Went to the desert for 10 days and just had the most amazing time reconnecting with some of my past life energies. But I knew by the time I got to hospital that there was going to be something that happened for me, because I had vision beforehand of me being on the operating table and having the surgeons around me, the anesthetists around me. But then what was actually also there was this beautiful, beautiful team of light beings, of amazing spiritual, gorgeous beings that were in the unseen. And they were completely, it was a total rehaul, the surgery that happened was far beyond just my lung. Every single aspect of my body was completely operated on and transformed. Every single section of my DNA was reprogrammed and was completely enhanced. Every single atom with within my being and beyond my being was being completely transformed within that space, within that beautiful divine moment. So when I then went into recovery after surgery, it was a really, really amazing experience to be in hospital for a whole week and to be going through. So many people are like, oh, aren't you scared? No, because I had the ability to travel through the realms, to go into dream time and to be completely clearing all of the energies of that hospital. And that was a massive honor. I had a huge fear of hospitals leading up to before I had my lung collapsed in November. I had a massive fear of hospitals because they're extremely haunted. So being a sensitive soul, it's really, really tricky going in there and not picking up on the energies that are around you. But I had reached this level of activation where I was ready to be in that space and to not have those things affect me. And the fear is a massive gap and a massive portal for not the most pleasant of experiences to flow through. But every time something comes through, it is all part of our learning experience. And when we can transmute and transform fear or pain or anger or any of those more lower vibrational energies, and we can transform them into the wisdom that we can gain from those experiences, that is total transformation and evolution of the soul.
Absolutely.
And
yes.
that's what I'm all about. And that's what this experience in the hospital was all about. It was completely going through all the ancient hauntings.
So was there a lot of souls that were like, it was a big
yeah, there were.
And were you able to get them to the other side? Like, do you know that you were able to get them?
I feel within my heart of hearts that I was able to. From what I envisioned was this amazing. So I created a really powerful pillar of light and opened a portal, and it was really, you can imagine. See, I've got this notebook, but then you can imagine this like powerful. So imagine that's the pillar going through. And going through from the core of the earth and going up into our universe.
Right.
I always, the portal that I create, I always envision that going to the galactic central sun. And, you know, people can research this, but tune in yourself and see what it is that your imagination is your key to your psychic abilities. And we get told as children to, stop, get out of your imagination, stop it, that's not real.
Right.
But your imagination is actually your key to being able to have your psychic visions. So when you can get over that first hurdle and just allow yourself to imagine things, and you can start off really small. You can think of a tree and you can imagine a tree. That's really easy.
Yeah.
So you can then expand from that and allow yourself to imagine things. And it's what comes to you first. So if you hear something, allow whatever comes to you first. And that is your intuitive ability, your intuitive psychic ability to tune in. And the more you practice that and the more you honor and believe that, it's perceive, believe, receive. You know, it's that ability to be able to connect.
That's lovely. I like that. Perceive, believe. Say it again. I'm sorry.
Perceive, believe, receive.
Right.
So you need to be able to perceive it first of all. You need to be able to think, like, to be able to be like, okay, that's possible.
Yeah.
But then you really need to believe that it's not only possible, but it is. Right. And that is when we receive. And that's the key to manifestation as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's the thing, is that there's so many people, they have these cycles of limiting beliefs where, sorry to go off into a different tangent, but I think this is actually important. So many people have these limiting beliefs, and I've had plenty of them myself, where you perceive something as, or just for me, for example, I had limiting beliefs around about making money because of what I went through in my childhood and what my parents went through. So I was like, it's always hard to make money, or it's hard to keep money. It's hard to have savings. So then I started believing that. I was like, it's hard to do this. It's hard to do that. Oh, that's how it is. And what did I receive? I received those cycles. And even when I was working in corporate, making amazing money, because I had these limiting beliefs, I had these cycles of not saving that amazing money. And as quickly as it came, it flew out. Right. That's been a really big one for me to break, but it's totally possible because there is an abundance of everything out there in the universe, in this physical world for us to access. But perceive it, believe it, receive it.
I love that. And I'm
follow that.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely know that to be a truth for myself. It's a knowing, not just a belief. I know that, but you've been able to give a great synopsis, or that's not the right word. a great protocol,
Yeah.
basically, for how to manifest and really at least get our minds rewired into that
Yeah.
way of thinking, and that's
Yeah.
fabulous.
You
Yeah,
know, vision
I
boards
mean,
are really,
yeah, I don't well, like you were talking about, so I get precog a lot,
yeah.
and I also am highly, I hear, like, I had a neighbor that lived next door that had passed away and decided to come in my house.
Yeah.
Um, and I felt her. I knew she I just lifted my head up and I looked around. I'm like, okay. I didn't know that's what it was.
Yes.
So I got up and went outside. I was like, something just entered my home. Wasn't thinking that she had passed away. And then I thought I knew she had been sick. And I went to go open my front door and the whole doorknob just fell off. Like, you have to
Wow.
use a drill or a
Yeah.
screwdriver, a really strong person to get these doorknobs off. It just fell right off the door, which
Yeah.
was fascinating. And they were
Absolutely.
trying to figure out when she died. And I knew when she died because I knew when she entered my home. And she was
Yeah.
looking either for a body, because that's what will happen. A soul will either look to go back to its body or look for another body to take over,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
And so, but now that you said that, I was just thinking, wow, I mean, I was able to, yeah. Anyways, that's fascinating. Good job, Lily. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
So what I was able to journey through with the vision was all of those trapped souls and all of those negative energies, because it's not only the trapped souls, it's not only the scared patients, it's not only the grieving families, but it is fucking, excuse the French, but it is bloody hard for those amazing hospital staff to be working in that space day in and day out. It is soul sucking.
no,
I
sure.
know this because my
Yeah.
mum has worked in the health system as a specialist nurse since
Mhm,
before I was born.
mhm.
She has lived and breathed being of service through that system
Right.
since way before I came into
Oh, I
this
commend her.
incarnation.
You tell her I said I tell her thank you, because there
Oh,
are so many. Yes, there
and
are so many
absolutely.
that have, and then you have, we can go further into this discussion about the Dracos, and a lot of them,
Yeah, yeah,
reptilians or doctors that, you know, uh,
yeah.
there's a lot happening in that whole
There is
arena.
absolutely a lot happening within that
Yeah.
space, and you're spot on, because unfortunately, and look, no discredit to those that have gone and studied within the areas of healthcare and medicine. I commend you for putting that dedication in. However, my awareness in the situation, and I know that there are many other people that resonate out there with this, is that unfortunately the Western medicine system is completely and utterly not connected to patient care, is not connected to the soul centered and actual whole of health well-being,
Well, of course,
spectrum.
we know that.
So
Yeah.
you've got these beautiful souls that are working within these spaces, and their higher selves know that something else needs to be done. So they've got this duality going on within them day in and day out, because they're having to follow these practices, following these teachings that they've been taught. And there is the other side of them that is believes it to be true in and out, but then their higher self knows that there's more to it, knows that there's more.
Can I say something? I had two crowns put on my tooth, and the only reason I even considered allowing them to do that, first off, I made it every paper clear that I would not accept anything that had fluoride, any type of treatment with fluoride, any, you know, and I had two teeth that from cavities when I was a kid that the fillings kept coming out, but different dentists kept drilling higher. So it got to the point where I needed crowns. The fillings wouldn't stay. Long story short, I watched the dentist shift her eyes shifted right in front of me.
Yeah.
So I know that she was reptilian. And she wanted to drill into that. She was like, oh, well, we could, sand down your lower. I said, I have perfect, my jaw, my teeth are perfect, quite
Yeah.
literally. And I'm not saying that. I've been told by I used to be a dental assistant. And he said, Ida, I've worked 18 years. I've never seen teeth as straight as yours and perfect. In 18 years, I taught at Georgetown University. So
Yeah.
I'm very fortunate in that. No, you're not going to drill into my teeth anymore. The point was, it would have made it so they don't think, whether they're knowingly or not knowingly, they don't think about, all they're thinking about is getting you into the one for money. I mean, it was $2,000 to get 2 crowns put on.
Yep.
Either money or so that they can use you as a testing grounds for their, you know, whatever. And I just so my point in saying that is there are a lot of reptilians that are doctors, and they're all about the money. And I'm not saying all doctors, so I'm not here to attack reptilians, because I have family that's reptilian and I see them very clearly.
Yeah.
The point is that the mindset or the characteristics or the person, not the personality, it's just the way they are. They are very everything, it's about money.
Yeah.
And material gain, and you know, status quo, and societal power, if you will, which is just all bullshit anyways. But
Yeah.
you know, I'm a doctor, and I'm, you know, whatever.
It's because of the way that they were trained and the education that they received. And
I don't think it's
of,
just that. I think it's the way they are also raised.
well, and this is the thing, is that I find a lot from my experiences, I found that not always are they necessarily a full-time reptilian type energy. Sometimes what it can be is that they have that ancestral lineage, they have that connection, and that consciousness of the reptilian comes through and uses them as a vessel to do that kind of work, to be able to do that.
Okay, well, fair enough then, yes.
But it absolutely,
I mean,
some of them are though too. Some of them are as well.
I
But
mean,
that's
do you
what I see as
notice
big
like
consciousness
shifting in
jumps.
eyes a lot? Have
Yeah.
you noticed more people in? Yeah.
Yeah. And as well, body jerks too. You can see when someone is having a moment. I mean, sometimes you just get shivers down your spine, so you do have a bit of a body jerk. But there's a very, for me, the way that I can see and perceive, and I see very clearly within both the seen and unseen side of things, is that there are a lot of people that are having their earth suits borrowed very momentarily for a certain act, and then all of a sudden it's gone and they're left there like, whoa, what the heck was that? Like, that wasn't what I normally do.
Yeah.
So, and a lot of people, they don't have that awareness of sovereignty and being able to state their sovereignty. So it gets really, really tricky. You know, people, energies can come in and come out whenever they want, because unfortunately, knowingly or unknowingly, they have agreed to have these connections and these vows to these different races and these different lineages or these different actions. But all of that can be broken. They can be completely rewritten.
Yeah.
And I guess that's where, you know, talking about timelines and timeline jumping or your soul contracts, I have a very firm belief that whilst, yes, we do have certain contracts that we come in with, when we reach a level of awareness, we actually can renegotiate and rewrite contracts. I know this because I've seen this and I'm living proof of this. And that's the whole thing about having these soul lessons, is you've got that pitchfork in the road of, you can go down one road and repeat the same shit cycle, or you can go down this other road and evolve beyond the cycle. And at the end of those two roads are two very different lives. So to say that you can't rewrite a soul contract or renegotiate it just doesn't sit with me and doesn't resonate with me, because we have constantly got these forks in the road where we can take one way or the other, and both ways don't lead to the same outcome. So how can we have one set soul contract?
Right.
That's just my...
Right. Well, that's where the free will comes in, but actually, I don't know that anything, I think we have free will to learn. We can make our life, either make our lessons, which we have every day, make
Yeah,
it much more difficult, or we can make it easier for ourselves by not being in resistance and being open and understanding that everything is showing up to teach us for our own soul evolution. The problem
absolutely.
is if I can tell you now, I did take medicine and crossed over.
Yeah,
So, and it wasn't my time. So I
yep,
wasn't allowed to stay. I was
yep,
sent back. And I'm
yep.
thankful for that, for
I
sure.
feel you.
But I was ready to go. Like I
Yeah,
just literally just said, God, I'm tired now. I'm laying down.
yeah,
And what I did, I'm very fortunate that there was nobody there, nobody knew, nobody, nothing.
yeah,
And I remember walking through this wall of energy and I was just like whoosh and just pushed through to another dimension. And I said, God, if you're real, show me. He said, I am. Two
yeah,
words, the only two words I heard. And the next day, so my point in saying is, yes, first off, we can leave the body. You're still going to take everything with you that
yeah,
you have not dealt with in this,
yep,
what you're here to um, heal, transfer, transmute, uh, karma that needs to
yeah.
be resolved. You will,
It
you
will
have to,
come with you.
yeah, it goes with you. That's right.
Yep.
And if it's not your time, you don't get to stay. You get sent back. And
Here
so
I am, four
I just,
rounds.
yeah, right. So, and now I don't see death the way I used to. And like you,
Wow.
I've had several, I've overdosed on drugs. I almost drowned.
Yeah,
I took a bunch of pills. I mean, I
yeah,
a lot of things, and
yeah,
I'm okay talking about it. I've dealt with a lot. I feel that I've done a lot of the inner work and healing and sitting still and just being with myself. That I
absolutely.
don't get triggered so easily,
Yeah,
but I do. There is a huge space in my heart where I am so very grateful, so thankful, and I know it's by the grace of the universe. I don't
yeah,
really like to use the word God, but I do, just for us being able to share
yeah,
this kind of conversation and dialogue. But this multiverse, this amazing expanded, I mean, we only experience very little of what's really available to us because of
oh yeah.
frequency fences and all that. So go ahead, please. So okay, so tell us more about your multidimensional service and what you do, because we've got 20 minutes and I want to really give people an opportunity. Hopefully they'll make it through the whole video to get to this point. We can always have you back, Lily. I would love to have you back.
And
But,
I would love to chat more with you
well,
too. So
that would be
both
lovely.
on the show and off the show, we know we're connected. We know we've
Yes,
got that
yes,
kindred
ma'am.
soul sister connection. So yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Okay. So
But
tell us more about what you do and how you
yeah,
got.
yep.
Yeah.
Um, as I was mentioning before, I was attuned to Reiki, and I very quickly, after starting to be a practitioner, I very quickly realized that Reiki was the key that opened this really vast door. And all of a sudden, I had these beautiful healers coming and seeing me for sessions as well. And when they were coming and seeing me for sessions, they're like, oh my God, did you know that you're doing psychic surgery? Did you know that you're doing soul path retrieval? Did you know this? Did you know that? Did you? All these different things. And I was like, no, I didn't know that. But then I started diving into it more and I started believing in myself more because I had a real raw, just natural flow of energy that comes through. And it's because as healers, people aren't being healed by us. They're being healed by what comes through us. And every energetic healing session is completely unique and completely different, not just on the individual, but actually on the individuals, each individual session too.
Sure.
So it's this really, some people will come to me and they're not as open to diving into light language and light code activations. They're still having their activations without being aware of it. And that's not something that is against the free will. It's whatever comes through is what their soul is calling for. But some will come and have a very traditional Reiki session where I won't channel starseed family. So a lot of the time during sessions, starseed family can come through and want to talk with them. Passed over loved ones can come through and want to talk with them. I can have inner child aspects that come up that want to be mentioned. But it's really important to respect where the client is at, because not everyone is ready to dive into that. So there are ways to say something without making it this extreme big, holy, what do you mean? And freak them out, because some people,
Right.
they get a bit overwhelmed. So there are ways to be able to very gently say to someone about these different energies or communications that are wanting to flow through. And sometimes they don't have any conversation coming through. Sometimes they're just really just there to receive the energies that flow through, and that does all of the talking for them. So it's completely unique and completely different. However, I always start off my sessions with being able to do a pillar of light meditation where we activate their core of energy. We clear out their chakras. We clear out their energetic bodies as well. And this gives us the ability to expand the energy far beyond the physical form. It allows the client to be able to be on the table and enter this very, very deep state of consciousness where the everyday worries can flow away and they can be very, very present in the moment. A lot of people, they nod off and they go into dream time, and all of a sudden it's an hour or 2 hours later, depending on their session, they're like, what? And this can also be done remotely too. It doesn't have to just be done here in the physical. The beautiful gift of multidimensional healing, or any healing for that matter, especially when you're utilizing Reiki in particular, energy will flow to wherever you are in the world. And I've got plenty of clients that are overseas, and I've also got lots of clients that are here in South Australia as well, or Australia as a whole. So being able to do this pillar of light meditation, it takes these high frequency energies through their entire body, through all of their meridians as well. So we don't just have our 7 main chakras. There are way more energetic points within our system.
Well, look, can I ask you something? What do you think about the chakra system? There's a lot of talk that the chakra system is a draconian implant in the body. Have you heard that?
I have heard people talk about that. I don't necessarily resonate with that. And again, I think perceive, believe, receive. So our intention is really, really, really fucking powerful. And if we have a pure intent, we're able to clear a lot more. But my I guess exploration into understanding the energetics of the body more so stems from some of the Eastern medicine side of things. So I more think of it as meridian lines, meridian points, and also axonal lines as well. So I more see our human body much the same as I see our beautiful earth. The human body has these amazing energetic lines that go through it. Our earth has these amazingly beautiful and powerful energetic lines that goes through her. And for me, the term bridging heaven on earth is really being able to integrate the two of those together. So our body, this physical body here on earth, to me is earth. And these higher frequencies and our light body and our higher consciousness and all the other layers of our beautiful bodies, that to me is heaven. We already have heaven within us. We already have earth within us. And when we can integrate the two together, we can actually activate the Christ consciousness. And sometimes Christ consciousness can be activated without even knowing it. And we can have it activated within us, but then also experience the human experience. We don't have to have this all angelic, we don't have to be completely spiritual, because that's not why we're here. We're not here to just be spiritual.
You have to be able to navigate in this realm, in the multidimensional. But I can tell you that I had a Kundalini activation, and my crown chakra was definitely lit up And it's a heck of a thing to experience. I mean,
It
it
is.
really, especially if you have nobody to help
Yeah.
you and you don't
Yep.
understand what's going on. But
Yeah.
but yes, definitely our hearts can always be activated. We don't have to go through, I mean, I don't know that, there's, I think many people go through several lifetimes and never have a kundalini activation. I don't know that it's
Yeah.
part of everyone's experience. What I will say is we can always open our hearts up and
Yes.
choose to be loving, kind, and compassionate with ourselves and
Yes.
others.
And others.
It's a
Yeah.
choice, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And that's where
Absolutely.
shadow work comes in, and that's where
Oh
being
yeah.
conscious and aware of our own thoughts, intentions, and
Yes.
actions. Yeah. So
Yeah.
thank you for,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is that by activating our Christ consciousness, like I was saying, it's not to necessarily say that we have to be at that full time all the time, because you can have that activated within yourself and be able to access it should you do the work and should you allow that path to flow. And that's something that myself and many others can assist people in doing, but it really comes down to the individual doing their work and being able to come to peace with all that was, all that is, and all that will be. It is that universal acceptance and deep surrender of everything is perfect. Even the most painful, it is all perfect. And
That's right.
that's
Yes.
a hard pill to
I,
swallow sometimes.
it was
But
hard for me.
yeah, yeah. But we're here on this earth, and part of our mission is to actually live the human experience too. It's
Mhm.
not just to reach this Christ consciousness or enlightenment or whatever it is that you might want to, whatever terminology you want to apply to it. It's actually to be able to enjoy the human experience too, because there are very few other beings and species out there in the universe that have the ability to have all these senses
Oh,
that
we're
we
so
have.
fortunate to be in these bodies, and people don't realize
Ah,
it. And I didn't get it until I got it. Like I didn't
I
really,
know.
yes.
Yeah,
So,
I feel you. Yeah,
and I'm very thankful, for sure. Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
And to be able to hear, to see, to feel, to everything, all the senses, all the beautiful senses, that is our greatest gift, and it is a hard one to realize sometimes. But the second you do, the second you realize, wow, being human is so powerful. The technology that is within our DNA is so
Absolutely.
boundless and so
Well, these
infinite.
avatar bodies too. I mean,
Yeah.
I know that I have certain energy points in my body, and
Yep.
I've, uh, yeah, and we all have it. So I'm not,
We do.
nobody's, yeah, we all have
We
it,
do.
and some
Absolutely.
are more, uh, consciously aware, or what's the word, are more intentional in their ways of using their gifts,
Look,
and
everyone
some
has the
kind of
ability
just
to
do it by
be.
default. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I was just sorry to interrupt
No,
you.
you're
Everyone has
fine.
the ability to be
Yes, that's
at
right.
that level. And whatever
Right.
they choose as an individual is completely up to them. There's no right or wrong. Everybody can do as they wish. But people like yourself, like me, like many other healers around us, we're here to say this is possible. This isn't this isn't some woohoo airy fairy story that is not true. This is truth. We're here to share this truth. We're here
Yes.
to say
Yes.
you too can access all of these amazing infinite possibilities within yourself and within your life, within
Yeah.
your existence. I'm here, but I'm everywhere, and so
That's
are all
right.
of you.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
I love that, Lily. We have 9 minutes,
Yeah.
and I just love talking to you, and I really hope that you come back. You
Oh,
know, yeah,
whenever you're ready for me, I'll be back. I've
yeah. I
really,
would
really
love
loved
to have you
this
come.
conversation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I really want to dive. Maybe in a month or two, we'll have you come back, and we'll just
Yeah.
strictly focus on the galactic
Yeah.
stuff, because
Awesome.
I think that we could really just that would be a whole conversation of itself, and maybe move past the trauma. It's not that I don't have a problem talking about the things a lot of
Oh,
us,
absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
but I'm at the point in my own journey where, I mean, I do it for sake of being able to be relatable to people, but I'm getting to
Yeah.
a point where I just I don't want to talk about it anymore because
Yeah.
I feel like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. I understand.
yeah,
Yeah.
you get to a point where it's just, I would much rather, although this conversation, this discussions, excuse me, discussion tonight has been fabulous. It's been
Yeah.
very heartfelt. I mean, and I appreciate you. And there's so much I mean, yeah, we could talk forever. I mean, definitely.
Yeah.
So we definitely have to have you on again. But I just want to say thank you so much and ask you to share just in the last few minutes contact information, what your plans are. Like, what are you know, is there anything, do you have any events going on, anything happening? I know that you mentioned getting your website up and going again. People, if they're interested in working with you, and I hope that anybody that's listening or that does listen, either, you know, on my channel, YouTube channel, or Soma Fusion, that please reach out to Lily, because I can feel her energy just from doing this uh having this conversation with you. So I know that you're a powerful being, and I know you're the real deal, and I know that you could help so many people if they're open to it. I mean, you know, it's up to,
Yeah.
we have to make the decision to invest in ourselves. And
Yeah.
a lot of people, you know, I remember when I first start reaching out to get help, and it was difficult because some of the people charge a good penny for their services, and it was difficult. I mean,
Yeah. And
$300 and $400 for a session, some up to 1,000,
yeah.
1,500. It's just out of my
Yeah.
range of but when I finally, you know, was able to get some sessions going, I was able to get the help that I needed.
Yeah.
And I'm so very grateful for people like yourself that do this type of healing on a multidimensional level, because so many people need it. And
Oh,
most
absolutely.
people are stuck, you know, other than in our community, the everyday world, they're in this 3D reality. They think this is all there is, and they don't realize that there's so much more. And that's the goal of this show, is to invite people to a place, you know, a platform where everything can be discussed with respect
Yeah.
and honor. And so share your information, and I will list. Okay, so for anybody that's interested in working with Lily or contacting Lily, she can be contacted on Facebook. I will post her personal information when I publish this show on my YouTube channel. All her contact information will be listed underneath in the comment section. So you will have an opportunity to reach out to her if you're interested in her services. So share what exactly the different services you offer and how they
Yeah.
can, yeah.
Yeah, beautiful. So I offer energetic healing. I also offer readings as well, and also light code activations too. But that's not to say that that's the only thing. Sometimes individuals need completely different things, but there's a wide range of stuff that I cover, from anything from pre-birth blessings and activations to space clearings, to entity removals, psychic surgery. You know, there's a whole wide range. So it really depends on the individual and what they're needing, what they're wanting to work through, what their intention is. And I am available via Zoom. We can do online remote sessions. We can also do in person for anyone that's in South Australia. But yeah, the energy goes wherever it needs to. So there's nothing, as you know, as Ida said, she can feel my energy, and that's the gift of being able to access the multidimensional realms, is being able to have there's no boundaries, there's no
Yeah, yeah.
restrictions.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
have beautiful energy, Lily.
Oh, thank you so much, sister.
And I
Likewise.
feel it, and I appreciate you. Yeah.
Thank you.
So
And yeah, so I'm available on, my email address will be down in the details once we get the YouTube video all up and organized. And so you can contact me on my email address, which is probably the best form, just because my messenger on Facebook does tend to get a bit busy and hectic. So just, yeah, if you would like to get in contact with me, please email me. I'm also available on Instagram as well. So that's spirit.mama.adl on Instagram. And that's another great way to be connected. Facebook, sometimes people can't find my profile. I'm not going to get into the potentials of why that might be, but I know some of us seem to have a bit of a blockage coming through with people being able to get access to us. Look.
But you will, if it's meant to. I mean, I'm a true.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I haven't found that accessing me through Instagram has any restrictions. You just have to request and add me. And yeah, we can go from there. But email, that's just flies straight through. And as we touched on earlier, I'm also in the process of launching my own YouTube channel called Self Mastery Super Show, where we dive deep into exploring the amazing, beautiful gift of self-mastery and what that means, how you can also access it. And that's co-creating great conversations much like this. And being able to hear from other people, their experiences, and also some of the services, some of the tools and techniques that they've found to be really, really supporting in their own path of self-mastery and evolution. No one needs to stay small. We're all here.
That's right. Yeah. And we need to support each other. And listen, there's so much room for creation. It's never ending. Yeah, so exactly. Nobody is, anything that you want to create or co-create with somebody, you're capable of doing it.
Absolutely.
There's no room on YouTube that's going to run out that you can't be a part of or create your own content or invite your own guests or any of that.
Exactly. And
right? We don't need to be in competition with each other. We need to.
That's exactly right. There's no competition.
That's right. Yeah. And I don't operate from that place. I support so many people, and I don't. Exactly. I don't tolerate that. By the way, those of you that do enjoy watching my videos or watching, having with the guests in my YouTube channel, if you don't mind sharing the videos, liking, subscribing, that would be great. I mean, I think I'm going to change the platform a little bit in that they'll be open to having, open discussions with me rather than necessarily interviews. Because I talk.
We get passionate.
and I like to engage and to sit, when somebody says something that, I can listen. Of course I can listen, but I just would rather to have a more open dialogue with people and, that kind of thing. And
absolutely.
Definitely, yeah. But I appreciate you, sister. So we'll get this.
Likewise.
Yes. Likewise. Thank you for coming on. I definitely want to have you back.
Yeah, definitely.
We'll get this uploaded as soon as she sends the file, and I'm able to get it on my YouTube, and we'll get your information in the
awesome.
Yep. And guys, reach out to Lily. We're gonna get her some clients going and get her up and rolling again.
Look, I've only just come back into recovery, finished my recovery from my lung surgery. So my books have just opened. It's a really perfect time for you to be able to secure a spot with me. So definitely get in touch with me, and I'm going to have some workshops and some other bits and pieces that will also be happening too. And they're going to be available both online and in person as well. And I really invite people to reach out that are interested in co-creating, not just on my YouTube channel, but also if there's anything that you feel that we can co-create together and create workshops and be able to use different things, then that would be really awesome too. So I'm here for all of you. Yes. Okay. It's such an honor.
Lily, will you share a little light language with us?
I'm so glad that you said that, because I was literally just like, I think I need to sign off with some light language.
Yeah, that would be lovely. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay.
No worries. So if everyone watching can just take some nice deep breaths, allowing yourselves to connect with the beautiful energies of above and below, giving deep thanks and gratitude to this beautiful planet and all the beautiful planets and energies out there in the universe too. Setting a pure intent for this transmission to come from my heart to your heart. Eskalaniata, Ashushisini Akia, Awatu aretini Shushisini Kinia, E Banalartia tu Sikini Tiawati Alare, E Asularki, Alasularki, E Ana Ato Ashishini Lati, Bana Aka Atu Solartitini Wata, E Niaka Natia Toshushi. E asinitikinia tiwatteretinia. Enia, enia nia ho. He, he, he. Asi anakolortu apekini atushusisinia. Awaka alantini watia. Etiatu. Feel those loving energies radiate all through you, all around you. Those pure light codes, sending powerful activations. Deep, deep love and gratitude to all of you,
So
sending blessings.
beautiful. Thank you, Miss Lily. That was lovely.
Oh, you're
Mwah.
so welcome.
Thank you, sister. I appreciate you. That was lovely.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so we'll end it there, and I will have you back soon. Guys, reach out to Lily. Yep.
Thank
Very
you.
good. Thank you.
Blessings to you all.
Blessings to everybody. Have a super fabulous night. We have so much to be excited for. There's so much going on, and I'm super excited for all of us. We have so much to look forward to. Guys, reach out to Lily, reach out to me. If you need support, you need somebody to talk to, whatever is going on right now, if you're feeling challenged by these energies that are coming through, just know that there's so many people. The community is huge, but you have two people right here right now that definitely support you in your spiritual development and want to really connect.
Yes,
that was such a powerful that was powerful. Yeah.
No,
I'll keep going if I keep talking.
No,
because I just had a whole new surge of stuff come to my mind, and yeah. We love you, love surround you. We are here to support you, and we'll have Lily back on again. Again, thank you. I honor you. I thank you. I love you. Thank you, sister. All right.
Oh, we see you, we feel you, we love you.
Yes, we do. I get so excited, and I'm like a big kid. I get, yeah.
Oh, me too. These smiley eyes of mine just go like, you can't see my eyeballs anymore. So
lovely. That light language was beautiful. That was powerful.
Oh,
very beautiful, Lily. I don't know how to do light language. At least it hasn't, it hasn't showed itself yet. I don't know. I mean, I have a pretty deep. I used to, my family used to tease me when I was younger, and Ida did. My brother, he's like, I didn't. You ever all you did was talk when we were kids. You ever get tired of talking? No, nobody listened. At least I felt like you weren't. And my voice is deep, and it carries. I have a very, and I would just say, yeah, I have the voice of God, and maybe
yeah. Amen.
I do, especially when that line, like when I get very passionate about something, I can tend to really blast it, and but I've learned to keep myself balanced a bit more now. Lily, you're super fabulous. I appreciate you, sister. We'll talk again soon.
I appreciate you.
Have a great day.
So much. You too, beautiful.
All right. Mwah.